Well, guys, today is February 20th, 2023. It is President's Day, an American holiday. But for some reason, the man that is allegedly supposed to be running this country has abandoned America and Americans on President's Day. Guys, Beijing Biden is nowhere to be found here in this country on this holiday. Actually, we do know where he's actually at. He went on an unplanned trip to Ukraine, or unannounced, I should actually say, to Ukraine. Beijing Biden went to a corrupt country on President's Day. And not only that, guys, Biden is pledging even more money to Ukraine to the tune of $500 million in military aid. Yes, the things that you actually pay for with your taxes, even more, is going over to Ukraine. Guys, the establishment, it needs to end. These people are corrupt. They truly do want war. And make no mistake about it, guys. We are in a war right now, courtesy of one Joe Biden. And these so-called Republicans like Mitch McConnell that actually fund this kind of stuff. Nikki Haley, who announced she was actually running for president, said, yeah, we need to continue to fund Ukraine. Well, congratulations, you just killed any little chance you actually had of getting the Republican nomination. Washington is corrupt, completely corrupt. And I find it interesting, guys, that Joe Biden actually decides to go over to protect Ukraine's border, makes an appearance there. We can't find the guy at the southern border. I believe he's went there once, and it took about 2 years for him to go over there. Joe Biden has put nothing into protecting our border, but he has sent billions of dollars to protect Ukraine's border. So remember that, guys, when it comes time to cast your ballot in 2024, will you be casting your ballot for Joe Biden, who is not protecting this country right here? Think about that. Look at this here on Newsmax. Beijing Biden pledges new military aid for Ukraine during Kyiv visit. Beijing Biden promised new military aid for Ukraine worth $500 million during a surprise visit to Kyiv on Monday, almost a year to the day since Russia's invasion. Yeah, he wants to celebrate the anniversary of the Russian invasion into Ukraine. But we have our own holiday here, and he's nowhere to be found. Beijing Biden also said additional sanctions would be announced this week against the Russian elite and companies trying to evade sanctions to, quote, back the Russian war machine. Well, I'm pretty sure that Biden is actually pretty happy that this war is going on. I'm pretty sure he's really happy. The military aid package will include artillery, ammunition, anti-armor systems, and air surveillance radars, quote, to help protect the Ukrainian people from aerial bombardments, he said. Quote, the cost that Ukraine has had to pay is extraordinarily high. Sacrifices have been far too great, Beijing Biden told reporters in Kyiv, where he held talks with Vladimir Zelensky. Beijing Biden appeared to make no mention of fighter jets, which Ukraine has been seeking from Western allies to help it push back Russian forces. Now, here's the thing. Air raid sirens blared as Beijing Biden 80 walked with Zelensky through central Kyiv, but there were no reports of Russian missile or air strikes. Yeah, this is Beijing Biden putting America last yet again, but he wants to go out there and take a whole bunch more money from you taxpayers and give it to Ukraine. This man is corrupt. corrupt. Now, we just had an event that happened in Ohio, in Palestine, Ohio, and Joe Biden is nowhere to be found. And he's getting put on blast now. On Fox News, GOP lawmakers slam Biden for a Ukraine trip, neglecting East Palestine, southern border. They can keep him. And I actually saw the tweet from Marjorie Taylor Greene. Actually retweeted it on Twitter. You guys can go and follow me at Real John Matrix. This is interesting, guys, because the people over there in East Palestine, Ohio, they don't have clean drinking water. I know that the officials are saying like nothing's really wrong with the water or something. That water looks pretty toxic because there was on-ground reporters there. All they was doing was just putting their foot in the water, and it had like this weird effect. But Joe Biden is nowhere to be found in our country when people are in need. It says here, Republican lawmakers from the House and Senate criticized Beijing Biden's unannounced trip to Kyiv, Ukraine, on Monday, and said it shows Biden is more interested in Ukraine than a crisis at the border or the release of toxic chemicals into the air and water in East Palestine, Ohio. Quote, when our border is in crisis, Joe Biden goes home to nap in Delaware. When Ohio burns with toxic chemicals, Beijing Biden administration says everything is fine. Representative Matt Gaetz, Republican of Florida, told the Fox News Digital in a statement. Quote, so on President's Day, I am not surprised that Biden is ditching America for Ukraine. He ditched Americans' interests since the start of his occupation of the Oval Office. They can keep him. Yeah. Also, by the way, Beijing Biden left Americans in Afghanistan. Left them behind. But Kamala Harris just said the other day with Andrea Mitchell of NBS, said we have a strong leader. Well, strong leaders don't abandon their own people. And Joe Biden, he is doing a great job of actually abandoning Americans in need. Left Americans behind in Afghanistan, and the people in Ohio right now, they clearly don't have clean drinking water. Americans at the southern border, their property is being destroyed by illegal aliens coming across illegally. But Joe Biden doesn't care. Doesn't care. This is what Joe Biden has done. This is the tweet that Marjorie Taylor Greene actually put out. She says, this is incredibly insulting. Today, on our President's Day, Joe Biden, the occupier of the Oval Office, chose Ukraine over America while forcing the American people to pay for Ukraine's government and war. I cannot express how much Americans hate Beijing Biden. You Democrats, I'm talking to you Democrats right now that vote for Joe Biden. You guys got to wake up. You got to wake up. Joe Biden is taking your money and not putting it into making Americans' lives better. He's giving it to another corrupt country, and it's a country that his son just so happens to be on a board of, and I believe there's a lot of corruption. A lot of corruption. That Hunter Biden laptop, man, was real. But big tech overlords and the mainstream media ran cover for Joe Biden in 2020. Americans have said that they actually knew about that laptop, they would have not cast their vote for Joe Biden. The corruption in this country, the corruption around the world, America is actually a part of it. It's on full display. America is actually a part of it. It's interesting, guys, that there was always a lot of talk about Ukraine, a bunch of Nazis, they're corrupt. But now we're actually funding a country with Nazis and corruption under Joe Biden. Guys, we got to take back the White House in 2024. It needs to be taken back out of the hands of corrupt Democrats. And also, you couldn't have a Mitch McConnell type of Republican in the White House either. That cannot happen. You need an America First president to get this country back on track. You really, really do. That's just my thoughts on this. What do you guys think of this? Black and White Network fans, let us know what you think about all this in the comments. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, and we will catch you next time.